Stamping Cat Crew. Today we're going to make this Apron Builder card, Apron of Love stamp set. This is the coordinating die cuts. I happen to make one for my mom, who does love to bake. So it does say Mom and Made with Love. Today we're going to do one with just a heart here so that it doesn't have to just be for Mom. And I wanted to point out there's also the I Love Stamping, there's scissors, there are things for Dad with the barbecue utensils here, rolling pin, there's flowers, so you could turn it into something for gardening. It's really a lot of things that you can do with this. So lots of fun, just have some fun and play. I pre-done a couple things. I always tell you to make your envelope pretty. We've got our card base, cut at 11 inches by 4 1/4. It's scored and folded in half at 5 1/2. Got our top berry burst layer and then our white layer that everything is going to happen on. I don't know if you'll notice, I did some pre-die cutting. A couple of the things that are separate. So this is the apron that can serve as a base for a lot of the things. It does have a separate tie here. I'm actually going to go ahead and attach both ends to that. I did pre-do the utensils. We're going to sponge those. And then this I actually stamped directly onto the apron, and I'm going to show you, I just made a little slit here and the utensils can fit inside. So easy to do. I'm going to set that aside. The first thing we're going to do is start our layers. So I've stamped the Made with Love on the top. I've got a 10-inch piece of berry burst ribbon, and there's actually a way to tie a knot, leaving a loop with the rest of your ribbon. And so it's going to be just about like that. And then if you think about it, your knot is going to be closer to the top than the bottom. So when you look at where this is going to have placement here, I'm going to cut it closer to the knot than the other side. You're going to have one shorter end and one longer end hanging down. So about like that. And then once you attach that, the ends will fit around on the other side. So we're going to put our layers together and create that. One of the things that I like to do is to take my Snail Adhesive, and I do actually go around all 4 corners. And that way it gives my ribbon an anchor to hold on to as well. So I want my knot just about there. Wrap both our ends around, and then I go back over the ends of my ribbon so that I don't have a place that is not attached to the base. I'm going to center that on the berry burst piece of cardstock. And then we have our base here, so I'm going to do the same thing. And then just remember to make your ribbon ends pretty. Anytime you tug on those, making a knot, you're going to have a little bit of fraying. So we want to get rid of that. And there's your card base. So I am going to use some fine tip glue just to attach the very top of my apron. Love this fine tip glue. And it doesn't take much. Got just the very tips attached. Set that aside, let that dry for a minute. Then I do have a piece of scrap paper I always keep handy, and I've got my little tools that I've already die cut out, and I'm going to grab the Berry Burst. And one of the really cool things is we have these Daubers here. And they are just awesome for picking up a little bit of color. Okay, so our utensils are now Berry Burst colored. I'm going to set those aside, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to take the apron. I'm going to grab my foam mat, Stampin' Up, and we're going to make our little pocket here. And because it is for the I Love Baking, although there are guys that love to bake. And we're just going to stamp the pocket to the center right here. You want to go straight down and straight back up with even pressure. And you can flip over your foam mat and use the other side. I actually have a piercing mat that Stampin' Up used to carry. You can use any kind of self-healing mat. But I've got this X-Acto knife, and I wanted to create a pocket without adding another pocket on the top. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the X-Acto knife, and I'm going to go right along the top of this pocket. And I do want to make sure I leave that stamped portion, so you want to make sure and cut just above so that you still have the definition for the pocket. Close that up, and then what I did is I just flipped this over, and I took just a little bit of Snail Adhesive on the other side of that pocket. And then I did my tools inside, and they will catch on some of the adhesive on the other side. I did want to pop the apron up, so I didn't want to add a ton of adhesive on that side. And our final piece. We wanted this up a little bit higher. There. All right. So then I just flipped this over, and because I knew this was going to be popped up, I took some of our bigger dimensionals, and that's going to give that some extra security. And we've got this just at a slight angle. And then just to finish it off, I had a couple little rhinestones for the pockets. Now remember, on the original one, we had the word mom here. You could add the little heart like we've done here. There's an I Love Baking, there's an I Love Stamping. So there's lots of things that you can do for this card. So we've got the one we just did and the original, and that's it. Thanks so much for stopping by, and happy creating.